Happy to share my thoughts on frugal innovation on an experiment we are conducting in India. Uh, After HCL Technologies, I started Sampak Foundation with my wife. And the problem we faced, the design thinking problem we faced in India was the fact that we had about 760,000 schools and 100 million children in government schools studying in these schools. Most of the recent assessments done on learning outcomes show that these children cannot read in grade 5 numbers beyond 99 or construct simple sentences in their local language. The learning outcome of these 100 million children in these 760,000 schools is very, very alarmingly poor. And the demographic dividend of India potentially can turn into its biggest challenge. It is its biggest challenge. So me and my wife Anupma decided that we're going to focus on this problem and try and solve it if we can. There were two issues with it. Number one, the scale and size of the problem is very large. And therefore, anything you bring to the table to try and transform, which is change the form of the outcomes, has to be at that size and scale. And therefore, the amount of resources which is needed is very, very large. Number two, we have to work with the government because most of these are government schools. So that is why the birth of frugal innovation really came in terms of if we wish to solve this problem, it has to be innovatively, a catalyst action which will transform the classroom. And number two, it has to be extremely frugal. So in our design thinking assumption, we put $1 a child per annum as a constraint and saying anything which we design has to not exceed $1 per child per annum, because that is the only way we would be able to reach these hundreds of millions of children. So having done that, then we started asking the same questions which I asked myself in HCL Technologies when we created Employees First, Customers Second as a cultural transformation agenda, which resulted into a 6x growth in revenues and profitability in market cap for HCL Technologies. The first question, where does learning outcome get created? The answer, it gets created in the interface of the child and the teacher. The second is who creates the learning outcome? The answer is the teacher. And therefore, what should Sampak Foundation and the government collaboratively do to try and impact the learning outcome and to improve it? And the answer is enthuse, encourage, enable the teachers to be able to create the magic in the classroom to be able to create the learning outcome transformation which we see. Now, the statement is big. How do we execute it? How do we come up with one single idea which potentially can make that happen? And we were inspired by Bollywood. If you go to a village and you see a Bollywood movie, you would see that on a Saturday, people will forget their hunger, people will forget their sickness, people will forget whatever it is and put bamboos and have an immersive experience of Bollywood movies in their village. So the question was, can we learn from Bollywood and bring that into the classroom and unlock the magic of Bollywood inside the classroom and ignite the classroom and create significant amount of enthusiasm in the classroom so that there is fun, there is song, there is dance, and therefore the learning outcome will begin. But the second problem was there is hardly any electricity in most of these schools, and therefore you cannot take technology other than the fact there is a constraint on frugality. And how do you get device which does not use electricity? So we came up with audio device and saying, can we create an audio device with long lasting battery life, which we can charge with a dynamo of a cycle and put a lot of songs and dance in it and create a virtual character like Mary Poppins, who we called Sampak Didi, who teaches maths and English using that audio box. We did that. We took that into the school, and suddenly the school exploded with excitement. The children exploded with excitement when Sampak Didi started, like Mary Poppins, started saying, "Good morning, children. How are you today? We're going to have some songs and dance today." Similar innovation we started creating in the interface of the child and the teacher, like the audio box in Sampak Didi, 17 other innovations to try and ignite the classroom transaction. Today, we are in 84,000 schools across 6 states in India. We touch the lives of 10 million children. We hope to touch the lives of 20 million children by rolling out this program in 200,000 schools in the next 3 years. And the learning outcome have increased between 30 to 50%, depending on which state you are. The central idea to this is that any transformation which will change the form of something permanently needs creative innovation, but at a frugal level because the scale is large. And when there are environments where the resource constraints are very, very critical in design thinking, that is the time you have to be more innovative and more frugal. And that is what our attempt in Sampak Foundation is. Thank you so much.